Thank you so much for coming over, Gillian.
Yeah, thank you. It's great to be here.
I'm really excited that you are here, and I can tell you one reason why.
Yeah.
You know, here in the Netherlands, we're always proud of the companies that we're building, and nowadays we're talking about unicorns and, you know, billion-dollar companies. But actually in Europe, there's just one company that's knocking all balls out of the park, and that's Booking. And these ladies are so big that it's just phenomenal. It's, you know, Spotify is nowhere. And I'm going to ask you some questions today, and let's start off with how big Booking is. Let's start with how many employees do you have?
Well, we have over 11,000 people working for Booking.com all over the world.
11,000, so
And
that's a small stadium.
Yes, we have over 180 offices all over the world, and our headquarters is actually here in Amsterdam. And since the buildings in Amsterdam are not so big, we have 7 offices here in Amsterdam. Yeah.
And how many people work in Amsterdam?
Close to 3,000 people we have here.
How many languages is the site translated to?
It's 42.
42. How many properties do you have on the site?
Over 900,000 properties directly contracted with Booking.com.
And how many rooms does that translate to?
Over 21 million rooms, and we have 6.6 million rooms in apartments and holiday homes, which people often don't realize about Booking.
So that's kind of like the Airbnb business.
It has similarities, yes.
Yeah. So would you say Airbnb is a competitor?
Well, I always say anybody that books an accommodation, right, or any other company is a competitor, and there's many out there, of course.
Yeah. So yeah. Okay. But yeah, you have 6.6 million apartments and holiday homes on the platform.
Correct.
I didn't know that, by the way. How many bookings do you do per night or per day?
Well, we always say that on average we have 1 million customers every day that book through Booking.com.
1 million customers. And what is the percentage you take from Booking?
As a commission, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, well, we always say it's an average of 15%.
15%, million. Average booking of a room is 150 euros, say. 1 million is 150 million, 15%, 7.5 million per day. Okay, that's quite nice. And you don't have to answer this, of course. But when we are talking about numbers, yeah, Booking is part of the Priceline Group.
Yes.
It's a listed company, so we can publicly talk about any numbers here, which is nice.
Yeah.
What is the market cap?
It's around 62 billion today.
Euros or dollars?
Dollars.
Oh, that's only 55 million, 55.3 million in euros. Only, I'm saying. Spotify is 8 billion. To put some perspective on there. And then the revenue, how much revenue do you do a year with the Priceline Group?
Well, it's around 55 billion
Also
that we do.
Dollars.
It's dollars,
Yeah.
and the majority of that is Booking.
The majority, is it 70%?
I cannot answer that question.
Okay. Well, I can, of course. No, I can't answer it, but the rumors are that it's between 70 and 80% of Priceline Group is Booking. So it's quite large. And you all started it from Amsterdam, right?
Yes.
You joined the company in 2000?
2002.
2002.
Yeah.
Employee number?
Well, I think most of you also saw Kees Kolen. I was the first one that he hired. He basically looked for a team to start building Booking. And at that time it was Bookings.nl. It's one of the biggest successes I think Holland has ever produced. But it's a Dutch company with truly Dutch roots here in Amsterdam.
And I believe I saw a pay slip of you lately online somewhere, and it says employee number 7. Is that correct?
Yes, I have employee number 7.
Were you aware that there was a pay slip online?
I am aware that that's online, yes.
If you look really good at another great company called Google, then you can find it. So it's amazing, 55 billion market cap. So you started out from 7 people to 11,000, and you basically went all the way. What are some of the challenges that companies, like all the companies here and like us, NextWeb, we're very small, but then maybe we want to get way bigger. What are the challenges that you come at?
Yeah, I mean, scaling is a lot of hard work, right? And there's a few things that we've learned with basically building scale. I mean, the first phase when you're really starting to build your business, your product, the model as to how you're going to operate, you really need to think about how do I build a business that is able to scale. And today I see many companies, especially if you go out in the valley, that don't really think about scaling, right? So they might be very successful in the US, but then they think, oh, now I need to go into Europe. And then they need translations, payments, and there's all kind of elements which makes that very complex. So it's very important you think about scale early on when you're defining your product. And scale sits in everything you do, right? And I always say it's quite interesting if you think about booking. We didn't start with a few designers and said, let's now build a beautiful product and then we're going to market it all over the world. No, we really started with a very basic product, and we started with the idea that we wanted to make a product which is more transparent, it's more informative, it's more intuitive, and we really wanted to take friction out of the process that what customers were experiencing at that time with booking and accommodation. So that's how we started, and then we really started to measure, so what do customers like, and how do we need to change and develop our product over time, and even that we managed to scale, right? Before we had a few people doing experiments on booking. Now we have, of course, a few hundred people coming up with ideas and testing that on consumers, and we do over 1,000 experiments every day. So even that we've managed to scale. And then if you think about culture, right? If you go, if you add so many people in your company, you really need to think about how do we get the right people into my company. And at the beginning, it's crucial you bring in the right people, because that's when you really start to develop and create your culture. And you need people, if you start scaling, that can move all over the world so that you establish the same culture all over the world, and people that truly understand the formula and the model as to how you operate. And that's what we've learned as well, and Booking has been successful, able to do that. So these are the few elements that we have learned into scaling, but it's very important you think early on as to, keep it simple. And Booking is an example, because many people always said, yeah, why don't you do this? And you can also do flights and car rental and all kind of elements of travel, insurances. But we always said, no, we want to make sure that we become the best at booking and accommodation. And there's so much work only to do this one thing really, really good, and to keep it simple, because if you keep it simple, you can scale it much faster all over the world. And I think that has really helped Booking and as to where we are today.
Okay, interesting. So you mentioned two things I think I want to pull out. One of the things is you started out with a very simple and basic product.
Yes.
And in my opinion, and I'm on terrifying ground now. In my opinion, Booking is still very basic and not so pretty product. And there's a term for that. It's called digital brutalism.
Yes.
I'm wondering, why is a site worth so much, doing 1 million bookings a night, still, in my opinion, ugly?
Well, this is why we don't listen to opinions, because We don't listen to opinions, because even I can have an opinion, and if I in booking will say, oh, I really think we should do this or that, they will look at me and think, yeah, that's all nice that you think that, but let's see what our customers want. And I think, and that's always what I say to startups, think about what problem you're solving for your customers, right? And Booking has been extremely focused on customers, always, and we only make decisions based on data. So, and that's how you improve your product, and you always know you're right. Because think about it, if I have 10 suggestions, and you know that only 1 out of these 10 will be successful, think about how risky it is if you follow opinions, right? You need to follow data to really understand what your customers are looking for.
I agree, and you have a lot of data. Still, in my opinion, it's not the most beautiful site, but I understand why you do it. And you're right. I mean, 1 million bookings a day, yeah, that's not something we have achieved yet. Then, you know, if you look at companies like Amazon, eBay, also big e-commerce companies. Are you number 3 or 2 in the world in terms of e-commerce?
Yeah, I think together with Priceline, because that's the numbers that are out there, it's the 3rd largest e-commerce company in the world.
And then what's number 1 is Amazon?
Number 1 is Amazon, yes.
2 is?
Is eBay.
Okay. So, and are you going to win that number 2 spot?
Well, I hope. I hope. Yes.
And how are you going to do that?
We need to keep innovating. I think that's, essential. And if we keep innovating, if we stay agile as well, right, to be willing to change as to what customers are looking for, I think we will manage. If we're able to scale, right, even more, because people underestimate that booking today is still growing very, very fast. So even though you might think we're a big company, we still have so much work to do in what we do today, but then better, right? We still, in the US, we're still a small company. So there we have lots of work to do. There's countries like China, India, so even that will make booking even bigger. If we do that well.
Because like in Europe, you're a household name. In Asia, you're a household name,
correct,
I would say, or
yes,
at least, maybe not China yet, but. So if you're in the US and you say like Booking.com, then they look at you and they're like, what? So is that a thing for you? Is that one of the big growth markets for you?
Yes, absolutely. We grow very fast in the US. We have, of course, a lot more competition in the US. So it has an enormous focus to also become more successful in that market. It's the first country where Booking actually went offline. I think Booking is also an example there. We never did any offline marketing PR until a few years ago. But when we started entering the US, we realized that we also had to build our brand and make customers aware that if somebody's already used to booking with the company, why do they need to change to book with Booking.com? And you also need to use offline channels to basically bring that message. So, and we've learned that building trust through your brand really works. So we even now do that in many countries in Europe.
And when you do the marketing, say for Booking in the US, is it mainly marketing towards your site or your mobile app?
Yeah, well, it's in any channel, right? It's in many digital channels. It's offline. It's many online channels. We use Google a lot, of course.
Yeah.
TripAdvisor has many US customers. Kayak is a company we own in the US with the Priceline Group. So it's in many channels. But it's also important that we have partnerships in the US with airlines, so that has a focus. But we get demand from many, many places.
And if you look at the product itself, you have the website, and then that's the digital brutalism we talked about. The app actually is quite nice. I use it often. And what I really love about Booking, which is a secret that hardly anybody knows, but you can, you can book a hotel and then you can cancel it 24 hours without paying, which is really nice. If you think I need to go next year to the next web, I'm booking my hotel today, and then if you're not ending up going, you can just cancel it. It's cool, huh?
Yeah.
Although many hotels might not like that much. But the app, I want to talk about a little bit about the app. How much of the orders you're getting in is going through app right now?
Yeah, we don't really give out these numbers, but we on average say that over 1/3 of our business is booked through a mobile device. A large portion of that is going through our app. So we've managed to build a successful business through our app. But you also see there's many platforms we're optimizing for today, because customers are, on your website, they come back via the app. So we also need to make sure that our products are similar in all of these screens that people are looking at our product.
But I really like the example that Booking actually, if you look at the app, you think like, hey, this should be a mobile first product.
No,
because it's way more beautiful, it's more intuitive.
Absolutely, and we build also new technology in the app, because in the app it's much more personalized, so you can actually give your preferences. So you can say, I always like to book a 3-star property, and the elements that you find important as to which property you're looking for. And it also learns, so it will look at your behavior and will give you suggestions of properties that really fit with the choices you often make into booking a property.
I have some product feedback, but I'll give you that later on the onboarding of the mobile app. But I think it definitely can be a little bit better there. I'll give you that later. But I want to talk about, if you look at the accommodation market and travel market, it's constantly growing. It's a huge market. The hotels. Do you have a love-hate relationship with the hotels?
No, I mean.
Or do they have a love-hate relationship with Booking then?
No, I mean, hotels are our partners, and I think Booking has always thought about how do we create a win-win-win, we always say, but it certainly has to be a win for your partners, because if it's not a win for partners, it's very difficult to scale a model that doesn't do that. And I think because we found the win in all of these areas, right, for the customer, for the partner, and for Booking, it makes it very scalable. And we keep measuring, of course, the satisfaction of partners that are using Booking. And partners are very happy with how Booking is marketing all of these properties all over the world and getting customers through their doors that they will have difficulty reaching themselves.
Yeah, so some of the hotels, they get like 60% of their bookings through you.
Yes, well, I mean, it depends per property, right? We don't control the inventory as such. I mean, properties will put the inventory on Booking. It's their choice how much inventory they put on Booking. But we always invested into local offices with people on the ground that are helping these partners every day to be successful on our platform and to take as much from our platform as they need.
Cool. Going back to Amazon, they always say, like, we are disrupting our own business models. Yes. If we don't do it, somebody else will do it.
Absolutely.
So, how are you going to disrupt Booking?
Well, and we are, right? I mean, we are disrupting Booking, and we've always done that. I always say it's very important as a company, even if you grow bigger, that you stay very agile. And also as an organization, you're able to constantly change, because the world is changing around you very fast. And Booking is disrupting, if you think about the 6.6 million rooms we have today in apartments and holiday homes, right? Before we were all about hotels, but we've expanded into so many areas. We're disrupting the corporate business, right? So the business travelers, while building a product, because the business traveler is used to the functionalities on Booking for the leisure stays, but we're also bringing that technology to companies. So we're disrupting that space. We have created Booking Suite, which is disrupting technology that hotels are using. So you constantly need to see, how do I innovate and keep upfront as to what customers are looking for or your partners. And I think Booking is an example of being able to do that time over time again, and that happens constantly.
All right, cool. I think I have one more question. We have 1 second left, so the answer has to be short. No. If you look at e-commerce in general, what are some of the big innovations you expect there?
Well, I can talk about one innovation I see today, which is Messenger, and that's something that Booking is building as well, because you see that customers use Messenger platforms a lot. It's a lot of customers that you can reach through these platforms. Booking.com is working very closely with Facebook now. So basically it allows us to get into the conversation of customers. We can send confirmations through Messenger platform. We can communicate with customers. We can translate. So basically we improve the service between customers and properties. So that's an innovation which is happening today. But also think about the ability we can bring in attractions. So when people basically arrive at the airport, how we get customers from the airport to the property, how can we help customers with what to do once they arrive at a destination. So in that sense, it will also innovate Booking again as to what we can offer to customers. And Messenger platforms are really helping to accomplish that. Okay.
I got one question from somebody online. It's about acquisitions. Is Booking looking to buy certain technologies from other startups, or are you all building it yourself, or what's the strategy there?
Yeah, it's a great question, because there's many startups here. I mean, Booking.com does a few things. So we invest, right, in communities for startups. We sponsor hackathons. So there's many things that we do in that space, but also Booking has bought companies, so startups, and integrated them into Booking.com. So that's something that Booking is doing, because we see value, of course, as well in startups and things that they're doing that can help the product of Booking, or there's talents out there that are really valuable to Booking. So there's many things to do. We share a lot of knowledge, we share our stories, but the thing, what you see with Booking is, I always say, we're not a startup ourselves. That would be strange if I would say that here, but we're certainly not a grown-up. So we are still so busy with scaling and innovating this company ourselves, that we also have a lot of work to do in Booking. But therefore we try to organize also sharing knowledge through these communities where startups are connected to.
If we're going to ask you next year, how many rooms per night are you booking? What will be the answer?
Well, yeah, I have some bets about that.
Ah,
but
we can make a bet as well.
Yeah, no. Well, I don't know. That, of course, is difficult to say here, but I always say you need to dream very big, and we've always dreamt big, and we are still doing that. And so I hope that also next year we can continue to build even more success than we're doing today.
Okay, I'm putting a bet out here. You don't have to answer it. I think 1.4 million rooms a night next year when you're back on stage. If that's the case, I expect a bottle of champagne, not only from you, but all of you. A man's got to live, right? I thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for being here.
I hope, again, that you're growing really fast. I actually had some insight in an email you got in 2002 that I didn't put on the screen because I didn't know if you would like it. But it was an email sent by Kees, actually. Yeah. and he sent an email to the team to congratulate the team that they reached the ultimate milestone of 1,000 bookings a night. And now you're 1,000 times bigger.
Yes.
So congratulations on that.
you.
Keep on growing.
Yes.
And keep on supporting the tech scene. Thank you very much.
Thank you.